Hello, Cindy K. Black. It is cold in Bakersfield. It's April the 2nd. This morning walking here, I was thinking about my English teachers. I had three English teachers at Cal State. They're really good. My first one, Barry Epperson. He told me that when he was in high school, he was just gonna take off for a year or 6 months. He's gonna go to college. But time went fast. And it was 10 years later, he was driving a truck in the fields. And he decided to go back to college. And I was in his first class. And he was a good teacher. And I guess his daughter at that time, she had diabetes, and I knew a lot about diabetes because my sister was diabetic. And so I talked to him a lot. So anyway, he was really a wonderful teacher, and I thought he was good. It's kind of hard to say, he was good. Some of the bad kids, he taught them to be good. I thought that's nice. that's nice. But anyway, he was a really good teacher. And my next teacher, he taught at Cal State only one semester, but he was really good. And he got to give a lot of insight. Like he shows a film where you could see a perspective of these people. Something happened, and they show the woman's perspective, and they show outsider's perspective, and somebody else's perspective. And it was so different, and it was so interesting. And he was a really good teacher, but he only taught one semester. They didn't have him come back. And they said, oh yeah, everybody said he's the best teacher, but they said it in poor English. But I guess my generation, they had to learn everything in college because sometimes we missed it. Well, everybody knows my one English teacher told me I studied and he accused me of cheating, so I never studied again. Okay? Spelling. And then Kim Flockman, she was a really good English teacher, and she taught us pre-writing ritual. Some people have a pre-writing ritual. Like before you sit down to write, maybe you need a certain kind of cup, and you need a certain pen, and you have to be sitting at a certain desk or a certain place. She taught us we have to figure out what ours is, what it takes for us to sit down and start writing. For me, I used to have a diet Pepsi to sit down. But you have to find out what your pre-writing ritual is, what you need to do to sit down and write, okay? But I appreciate my teachers out of Cal State, Barry Epperson. I think the middle one, I think his name was Tony Gaines, I'm not sure. And then the third one was Kim Flockman. But in my art classes, I really love my art teachers. And one time we went to Santa Barbara on a field trip, And that's one time there's a young man, he was in the art class, and he was from New York, and he had a scholarship to Bakersfield, to Cal State. And so he witnessed to me all the time going to Santa Barbara. He told me about God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. But you know, I know my parents were Assembly of God ministers, but that's the only person that told me, witnessed to me, and I listened to him. He did really good. He told me about God and Jesus and everything. And then we went to an art gallery, but in 19, I think it was like around 82, 81. But bad art was in. It was called bad art was in. And I told my teacher, I can really do bad art. He said, no, it takes a certain person to know how to do bad art. But you know, I painted, I drew for fun. One of my friends, Marilyn, she knows how to do everything right, just perfect, everything perfect. But I just paint for fun. That's my enjoyment, you know? And one of the art teachers said, you know, my art teacher, Walter Giordano, he taught everybody perspective. He could really teach perspective to everybody. And it was really good. I appreciate everything I learned from Walter Giordano. And then my art teachers out at Cal State. George. Right now I can't think of the other one. But the other one, he got mad at all the students. He was going to tell all the students to buy $100 paintbrush. So they could learn to wash their brushes. I said, no, don't do that. A lot of college students can't afford that, you know? So he didn't, but he was really nice. And he was famous, the other art teacher. I can't think of his name right now, but he was really famous. And he was a good person. He's a wonderful person. Okay, that's all. But take care. Believe in God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, okay? Okay, thank you.